What do you think of when you think of high school extracurricular activities? Sports, music, how about flying airplanes? Today we're at Pitt Greenville Airport talking to a group of young women and their instructor about what it takes to learn the ropes of flying airplanes. Now I'm out here with Chloe and Kinsley Tate, and before we get into the flying experience, I'm going to give them a chance to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about how they got into flying in the first place. I'm going to start with you, Chloe.
Hi, I'm Chloe Maddox. I am from Greenville, North Carolina, and I got into aviation. I have to give it to my mom. She came from an aviation background, and during COVID, when we weren't learning anything in school, she pushed really hard for me to learn something, so she got me a discovery flight here at Dillon's Aviation. On takeoff moment, I knew that I wanted to fly and become a pilot.
Hey, my name's Kinsley Tate, and I got into aviation just about a year ago at the end of May. It was right on my 16th birthday, and I had told my mom that I wanted to go skydiving, but she wasn't really fond of that idea, so she said that I could learn how to fly a plane instead. And I've had a little bit of aviation in our family. My grandfather was a fighter pilot, but otherwise I really didn't have any experience, and once I got into it I thought it'd just be a hobby, but it's really taken over and made me realize that I wanted to go into aviation as a career.
My name's Madison Rolison. I'm from Greenville, North Carolina, and I got into the aviation field by my grandfather. He's been flying since he was a really young age, and he really wanted me to be the grandchild to get into it.
My name is Emily Osborne. I'm from Burlington, North Carolina. I got into aviation wanting to figure out a way I could do humanitarian work and marry that with my love of traveling. So yeah.
I'm here with Brad Sawyer, one of the flight instructors here at Dillon Aviation. And Brad, you've had a chance to work with these young aspiring pilots. Tell me what it's like to take these young women out in the skies for the first time and teach them the ropes.
It's definitely a very inspiring and valuable experience for me. I enjoy getting to work with them, and my job is to teach them something, but in many cases I find myself learning a lot from them as well, just on overall perspective and the way they approach their flying. So it's been a pleasure getting to work with them.
Now, a lot of people, when they think about extracurricular activities in a high school, they think about sports, they think about music, something of the like. So what do your friends say when you tell them, my activity is I'm learning to fly airplanes?
They think we're crazy, and I'm all for it. We are little daredevils and love getting out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, I completely agree. All my friends are just astonished every time I show them pictures or whatever, and I have one teacher that every time I go into school asks me when the next time I'm going to flying, because it's just something that you don't hear of a lot of times, so but we love it. So.
I'm here with Chloe's mom, Monica. And Monica, tell me a little bit about how you found out that your daughter first wanted to get into aviation, and what was your initial reaction to that?
Well, I think when COVID hit, she and I both had talked about it, just given her an activity or something to do. So I was really excited for her when she took her first flight and she fell in love with it. So I think, that was just very excited for her.
Was there any nerves involved, or were you more excited seeing her take this opportunity?
I think we're all nervous as parents when our kids do any type of activity, sports or flying or whatever. So I was definitely a little bit nervous, and I still am when she flies, but I have great confidence in her instructors and the program that she's in, so I feel like she's safe, and I'm proud of her and not too worried about her.
And of course, in the field of commercial piloting, a very small percentage of commercial pilots are women. What does it mean to you to have your daughter go out and have a chance to improve that statistic?
Oh, I think that is incredible. We're seeing more and more women get into aviation these days, and I think that you're going to see that a growing trend. So I think it's very exciting, and I'm very proud of her.
Normally it's a shock to people because I'm only 16 years old, but everybody thinks it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I would say everyone that I know is very supportive of my attempts, and I think it was mostly a big change. I'm a little bit older than high school, and so I went to college, did that, and then I just did a 180 and attempted to fly, and luckily everyone's been lovely and supportive.
So how did you get into the business of flying?
I got into flying a few years ago. I started out as a high school teacher, and I decided that I want to make a career change, and this is a dream of mine ever since I was a child. So decided to take a leap of faith and started pursuing my training, and became a commercial pilot and flight instructor here at Dillon's probably about 2 years ago now. So that's how I got into it.
From high school teacher to flight instructor. That's quite
right.
a jump.
That's right.
I guess there's still a lot of teaching involved, isn't there?
Absolutely. Still haven't been able to get away from teaching yet, but I enjoy it. It keeps my skills sharp, and I like sharing this gift of aviation with these young people, and I hope to inspire and empower them to pursue and achieve their own dreams as well.
Now take me back to the first time you got in an airplane, maybe for your first lesson. What were those feelings like? Were you nervous? Were you excited?
Those feelings were a mixture. Just hopping into the airplane and trying to see everything and learn everything so quickly is just overwhelming. During takeoff, you're beaming ear to ear, and it's just like, wow, this is really cool. I love this. So
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of bad in hindsight, but I don't really think I have too much of a fear factor when it comes to anything like that. So maybe I should have been a little apprehensive, but I really wasn't. I was just completely full of excitement the first time I got in a plane, and especially the first time I soloed. It was kind of the same thing, just not really fear, just more like apprehension, just ready to get off the runway and into the air.
There used to be nerves in the beginning, but as I gained a comfort for the airplane and gained my senses for it, it became just absolutely an experience that I wanted to experience every day. I absolutely love it.
I would agree. Definitely the first flight, a little nerve-wracking, especially your first solo. But no, I think the nerves are starting to, dissipate a little bit. So yeah.
So what does a typical day look like for you as an instructor out here?
That's a great question. My answer is going to kind of turn it back on you. There is no typical day. That's what keeps this interesting. It's all every day is different. It could be as little as 1 or 2 flights, or as many as 4 or 5 flight lessons. But a standard day is a few flight lessons, about 2-hour blocks, and go out with 2 or 3 students over the course of the day and help them work on whatever stage of training they're currently in. So keeps it interesting for me.
So for the people who might be considering coming out for flying lessons, what are some things that they should expect or that they should know about before they make that decision?
They should expect to be challenged, to probably push their comfort zone a little bit, but they can expect, if they put in the necessary work, an extremely rewarding experience that they can cherish and share with other people for lifelong. But just don't underestimate the work when it comes to aeronautical knowledge and studying that would come into it, because the flying's the fun part. We all love doing that, but it's the what you put into it outside of the airport what makes a difference.
So what's been the most rewarding part of this whole process of learning about airplanes and about aviation for you?
Mine is gaining knowledge, because I've always been an intelligent child, but having the knowledge of how to fly an airplane is absolutely awesome. It's also been an eye-opening experience to the different types of career paths that I can choose as a young child in high school. Yeah.
Awesome.
I think just knowing what everyone's capable of doing, I think that's incredible. Because when I think of fighters, just airliners in general, pilots in general, what they have to juggle is just incredible, and I'm just very lucky to even start with the DA-40 and hopefully work my way up.
So what are your long-term goals in aviation?
Ooh, that's a good question. Long-term goals, I would say being a commercial pilot or something in cargo. The all-time goal is to fly for FedEx. I want to travel the world and deliver packages.
I agree. I would love to go and be a commercial pilot at some point, but also I love the business aspect of it, and running my own business has always been kind of a side goal of mine, no matter what industry. So I would love to run a private charter in the foreseeable future at some point, but I'd love to be a commercial pilot too.
To be honest, I don't really see a super big difference. I think it's incredible what we're doing, just as humans in general, whether we're female or male. That's how I look at it. But I do think it's awesome that more females are pursuing aviation.
We wanted to give a big shout out to Zach, David, and Brad for making this possible for us. They have pushed us extremely hard so we could get to this point.
Thank y'all so much. We really couldn't have done it without you.
You're the best.